Hi everyone, Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, joined by Ryan Wood. We are here to wrap up the Packers' 24-16 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Guys, it is still snowing out. I've got my snow pants on. Let's see if you can kind of see the pink. I'm not very flexible
I was making fun
at
of her.
all.
She's ready to go sledding.
I could
very much.
Arians Hill is right over there in Titletown. I could go hop over there for a quick sled ride before I go home.
Fireman's Hill for you locals there. Yeah. No, it's easy to become jaded with a lot of stuff in this job. It's just the nature of any job, really. Anytime this place snows, it's special. I mean, it really is. When this place turns into a snow globe, there are very few things like this in sports. So it's one heck of a scene right here. I mean, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and hopefully we can share this with you, and hopefully if you were not able to be here tonight at Lambeau Field, which I'm sure most of you were not, you get a little taste of what this is like with us. So why don't we discuss the Packers' win tonight? Christian McCaffrey was obviously a big name heading into this game tonight, and I believe he had around 141 net yards between rushing and receiving. So how unbelievable was it for him to be the one that gets stuffed at the goal line to ensure that the Packers would seal the deal for the victory?
Technically stuffed. It's one of those things you're never going to know. The call on the field is going to stand either way. And if you watch, I mean, there's no replay view that showed the football. So that call can't be overturned. If that's a touchdown on the field, it's a touchdown on the field. I'm not so sure it wasn't a touchdown. I really have no idea. I mean, I don't think there's any definitive way to know one way or the other. Call on the field stood, and they're 8-2. I mean, it came down to that. Christian McCaffrey was really good. Aaron Jones is better, and that's a big part of this game. After the game, Aaron Rodgers mentioned, Christian McCaffrey, obviously very talented. A lot of people have been talking about it for MVP. Maybe it's time to start talking Aaron Jones. Might be a little premature, but you can't argue with the touchdown production. I mean, second game this season, he's had at least 3 rushing touchdowns. The last time a Packers running back had done that, some guy named Jim Taylor, 1962.
Yeah.
He had 3 that year. Yeah. He was pretty good. So it's been a while. And any time that you're mentioned in that class, as Aaron Jones is now, he's having a heck of a remarkable season here.
So yes, 3 rushing touchdowns for Aaron Jones tonight. John asks, he saw that Jones missed 3 offensive drives. Was there a reason for that, or was it to give Williams touches? The answer is that they've got Jamal Williams, and Jamal Williams isn't half bad either, and I understand. Aaron Jones, 3 touchdowns. A lot of the spotlight was on him tonight, but I think Jamal Williams finished the game with 63 yards himself. There was a sequence where he had 3 carries for, I think he was averaging around 13.5 yards per carry, which, I mean, listen, that might say more about the Panthers' run defense than it says about Jamal Williams, but I do think it says a good deal about how gritty Jamal Williams is.
I think you can debate, I said Aaron Jones was better by virtue of 3 touchdowns. You can debate who was better one-on-one, McCaffrey or Jones. What I don't think there's any debate about it was that 2 was better than 1. The combination of Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams were absolutely better than just Christian McCaffrey. And that's a huge part of this offense. Aaron Rodgers said it during the week. Aaron Jones has got to get 15 to 20 touches. Jamal Williams has got to get 10 to 15 touches. I thought a big part of this game was that they were able to ride the running backs, and that Devontae Adams was still a difference maker. I mean, he had 118 yards on 7 catches, 10 targets. He was a part of this game, but in a lot of ways kind of a secondary part of this game. And it was really the running backs first, and the running backs are the strength of this offense. The fact that they got 2 guys there. And I know our columnist Pete Doherty is going to write about this. I mean, it's fitting that you saw in the first winter game of the season, the running backs and the offensive line for the most part really take over. This team plays outside, obviously, late in the year, and it's really built for this type of weather. It's going to be huge to get home field advantage going on. And 8-2, they're on pace to have some home playoff games.
Yeah, Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones have been used throughout the season, not only on the ground, but they've also been used as receivers. Tonight, not so much. It was really, the emphasis was on them on the ground, and it obviously worked out well for them. But tonight was a little bit different for the Packers through the air. I believe they only had 5 different receivers. I think there might have been 8 different targets on the team. But I think tonight Packers fans saw Davante Adams playing like Davante Adams, and also because of that, they saw the distribution go the way it did with Davante Adams getting most of those looks.
Aaron Rodgers mentioned that he thought Davante Adams was better, more comfortable and just healthier in and out of his breaks this week than a week ago when he returned from that turf toe. It looked like that. The other thing, too, is that Aaron Rodgers said that this was a good balance to strike for this week. Look, the Panthers came in with it's almost unfathomable since they have Gerald McCoy, Dontari Poe, Luke Kuechly, but they had the 26th best rushing defense in the league coming in. The Packers went for 163 against them. So this was a team, an opponent that they really wanted to run the ball down their throats and establish the run game throughout. They were able to do that, especially in the second half. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be that way every week. As Aaron Rodgers said, it was good for this opponent, but it just sure seems like when they go to their 21 personnel, they go 2 backs, even some 12. They even went some 13 with 3 tight ends. When they're able to do that and go to those formations and use that personnel groupings, that's when this offense is usually at its best.
So Corinne wants us to share our thoughts on the Packers and Matt LaFleur deciding to go for it at the end of the first half instead of just opting to kick a field goal. Listen, I think it could kind of go either way, and hindsight is 20/20, as they say. It obviously didn't end up biting them in the end, correct? So I think in the moment what Matt LaFleur was trying to do was show that he had faith in his team, that they could pull it off. It obviously did not pan out that way. The easiest to get the points was probably the most logical way to do it, but I think he went with his gut. Exactly. So had the Packers lost by 2 points, I think we might be talking a little bit differently, but because they didn't, I think, honestly, I can understand where Matt LaFleur was coming from. And Jamal Williams after the game was, and Aaron Jones, I think it might have been Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones after the game was pretty pleased with the fact that Matt LaFleur put his faith in his team.
I can tell you definitively, had they lost this game and had those 3 points they didn't get at the end of the half become pretty important, and they were pretty close to becoming pretty important, I would not have had a different opinion on the decision to go for it. I thought, and this is a bit strong, but I don't care. I thought he had really no other choice but to go for it. I mean, the message that a new head coach midway through a season sends his offense, and the first time they have that type of a situation where it's to trust those guys to get a yard, I think that message in that situation was even bigger than the 3 points. You know, it's something that can reverberate going forward. This is what I wrote about. This is my sidebar, so check it out on PackersNews.com. I went up to 4 of the 5 offensive linemen. Didn't have time to go get Corey Lensley, but 4 of the 5 offensive linemen and then Jamal Williams. And they all, to a man, they said that they appreciated the vote of confidence and that they got to punch that in. But it's just one of those rare situations where the messaging is almost more important than the actual points. Now, it certainly helped. Let's be real. They were getting the ball to start the third quarter. So regardless, they knew they're getting the ball back. It's not like they're giving the ball to start the third quarter to the Carolina Panthers. That's a big difference. And the difference between being up 21-10, getting the ball to start the third quarter, and 17-10, 1 possession to 2, that's a big difference too. So there's things that are bigger than the messaging, but I just felt like the messaging was a really big part of that.
Yeah, so let's flip it over to the defense. We've got a funny anecdote to share with you. So Dominic points out that the defense is getting Rolexes, and here is the story behind that. So Preston and Zadarius Smith said that they were going to give gifts to the outside linebackers room / the defense, depending on who got to double-digit sacks first. So Preston Smith tonight had 2 sacks, got to 10 sacks, and he's not just giving a gift to the outside linebackers room, he's giving a gift to the entire defense. And it's not like a gift that I might give you, Ryan. You know, maybe I'll give you a nice pair of socks for Christmas or something because I'm a generous colleague. But no, that's not exactly what's happening with the Packers defense. No, it sounds like Preston Smith plans to buy the entire defense Rolexes. If someone wants to go out there and do the math on how much that might cost, I'm sure Rolexes range. So I don't know what
it could
level.
Be a couple $100,000.
I mean, that's insane. That's wild. Could you imagine?
No, I can't.
Do you like me enough to buy me a Rolex, Ryan?
I like you. You're okay, but no, like that's.
It's okay. I understand. I would.
Even if I did, I don't have the money to do that.
I'm not buying myself a Rolex, so that's not happening.
like, man, that's that's, you do the math. I Googled. I did a quick Google search and saw retail is roughly maybe 8,000. I don't know. You can go a lot more than that, obviously, but just average. You do the math, 8,000 times 25. I mean, it's $200,000. That's
a lot of
hefty.
money.
It's
but
hefty.
I
That's
guess
a very expensive 10th sack.
I mean, with what Preston Smith is making this year, it's still a lot of money, but it's not.
I mean, like,
it's not as much money as it would be to you or me.
It's my kid's college fund, but yeah, okay. No, and he, he said that they helped me get there. I can imagine that the teammates would appreciate that gift quite a bit.
That's a nice gift. That's nice,
Rolex.
Nicer than a couple steaks at Republic Chop House. I'll say
Smith
that.
said he might have to fork over a few more dinners to even things out. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about Jay Sternberger, Eric Branchik, who I feel like I have to take his question because he's a friend of the show, but.
Hello,
we appreciate your commenting. He points out that Jay Sternberger looked great blocking. Perhaps next week he gets a pass his way. Perhaps his blocking today, earned him an actual chance at a reception next week, or excuse me, in 2 weeks. We got the bye week next week.
Yes, we do.
But yes, but Sternberger, I think I don't know how many. We'll see how many snaps he was on the field for tomorrow morning. But gosh, I was pretty surprised with how well Jay Sternberger blocked on some of those plays. I mean, there were some that he was one-on-one with some bigger, stronger linebackers, but for the most part, I thought he held his own out there, and impressive for the rookie, who I believe Brian Gutekunst said on draft night that he would need to work on his blocking.
So I guess, Eric, that Jimmy Graham's 48-yard reception with some some actual goodness yak, wasn't enough for you?
Gosh.
No, yeah, I thought he looked pretty good. Some kick-out blocks in the zone, and that's not something that's supposed to be a big part of his game. So it was a little surprising to see, just because I don't know anything about Jay Sternberger, but the book on him coming in, because I hadn't really watched him play much, the book on him was that he wasn't much of a blocker. So they used him that way. He did okay, and we'll see if he can build on that, or it's a really small sample size, and that's the thing to me is I don't know what else. He's got to build on that and show it consistently.
Yes, Mark says that the defensive backs need to learn how to catch some balls. Jair Alexander had 2 chances at interceptions, no dice.
Really one. I mean, the second one was kind of dribbled at him. I don't know.
It was maybe. Okay,
the one hit his hands and was a touchdown. So yeah, I mean that one. Those are different.
And Adrian Amos. So for the I believe this is the second time this season, Amos has been in the end zone, tipped the ball, and a teammate intercepts it.
Because Kevin King had the first one against the Raiders.
Correct.
He got it from
okay, however,
Raiders.
that was like a tip. This literally went into his hands. He could not catch the ball, but Tramon Williams ended up making the play. I asked Adrian Amos in the locker room after the game, would you have liked that one for yourself? And he admitted that he should probably get on the jugs machine when he goes home tonight. But the play's a play, interception's an interception, and he was happy to save the points from the Panthers.
Well, that one was an interception. The one that was big was the one where Jair Alexander, I don't know if he just got his eyes to the end zone because there was nothing but mildly white and green mixture of space ahead of him with the snow. But this has become a trend. He kind of missed the lollipop, lost the lollipop that Phillip Rivers threw him in the sun a week earlier. He had the drop against the Vikings. Jair Alexander's really good. There's a reason why teams aren't throwing his way. He's really talented. But it would seem that the next step for him to take would be to translate that to, and it's frustrating, I'm sure, for a young guy who's really good. It doesn't get a lot of chances to not get tested much, not get a lot of action for large swaths of the game, and they're throwing at Kevin King's side a lot. But being able to find a way to take those few chances he does get, because they're there, and translate those into production, into interceptions, into big plays, that would seem to be the next step for him.
Yes, I am sure that is on his mind. Both Katie and Matthew, and I'm sure a few of you guys in the comments here would like an update on Tramon Smith. He left the game early in concussion protocol. I don't have an update on him. We usually don't get updates on these guys after the game. Maybe we'll get it tomorrow, but I even doubt we'd get an update on him tomorrow. So we'll see how it pans out. As soon as we do have an update, we will share it with you guys.
These guys are guarded with the secrecy of witness protection when they enter the concussion protocol. There's just nothing. So
Right.
they vanish from everything until they don't, and then they reemerge, and it's like, hey,
What happened there?
They're
Yeah,
there.
because we're not allowed to talk to them while
Nope,
they're in
they're
concussion
off
protocol.
limits.
So we can't even be like, hey, Trey, what's going on? How you feeling? We can't ask them. So that is the way that this goes. John wants to know what the time of possession for both teams was. He was curious about it. I forget. I think the Packers were sitting around 30 minutes of possession, and I think the Panthers were under it. I know that the Packers won the possession battle.
I have no idea.
So there's that.
Good.
There is that for you guys. Ricardo wanted to know, where is Oren Burks? He was out there early on in the game, I'm assuming, to help stop the run. He's probably the fastest inside linebacker that would have any sort of shot at guarding Christian McCaffrey. But I think after a while they started to prefer putting in that hybrid safety linebacker situation. Ibrahim Campbell stepped up, and he played pretty well. He had a forced fumble and made some pretty big tackles for the Packers in his first game back.
Yeah.
He hasn't played football in like a year.
For a guy who hadn't played that long, coming off a torn ACL, I was surprised. I mean, because he was only activated from PUP this week, and I know he'd been practicing, but it goes against their trend a little bit to have a guy who is new to the active roster in that week be out in the field. Ryan Grant been inactive for 3 weeks now, so goes against their trend a little bit. So I was surprised to see him, and I was even more surprised at how well he played, all things considered. But you know who's probably not surprised is Mike Pettin, because he said all along he thinks he's a starting caliber safety. He's a big fan of Ibrahim Campbell, and there's a reason they did break their trend for him, is they think he's really good, and he showed that he's pretty good today.
Yes. There's lots of comments in here. I'm trying to keep up with all you guys. Dan wants to know where Danny Vitale was in this game. He did not have any sort of action on offense. I mean, he was out there as a blocker a little bit, but he didn't get any looks in the receiving game. So
you got a hug from Matt LaFleur
that.
after the game, though. Literally, first thing I saw when I got in the locker room was some guy who was much smaller than Danny Vitale giving
That's
Danny
not saying
Vitale
very
a
much.
hug. Yes. And, I was like, who's that? It was Matt LaFleur. And Matt LaFleur literally, and I wrote about this, I mean, it happens every week, but you don't see it every week. He went around to each locker and was giving guys hugs, and each guy one-on-one had some time with the head coach. It was pretty interesting sight.
Yeah, Matthew wants to know what happened to Marquez Valdes-Scantling after his inability to make that catch, the long ball to MVS early in the game. He kind of disappeared after that. It looked like Alan Lazard was being put in there over him on some of those earlier downs, and MVS was getting out there on third and more unmanageable situations when it looked like they were going to have to take a deep shot down the field, and the ball really didn't come to him.
It's what he is. It's kind of been boom or bust. He's a deep shot guy, and if he gets his deep shots, then he'll have a decent game, and if not, there's not a lot of production there. So what he's been so far through the course of his career is what he was today, and we'll see if that's what he'll always be or not. I think it's still early, but that's what he is.
So guys, Packers heading 8-2 into the bye. I think every week we've said we did not expect the Packers record to be what it is whenever it is, and I can say again, hate to sound like a broken whatever the saying is, but 8-2 was not expecting that.
Here's the big thing. Playoffs don't start today, but if they did, they're the 2 seed right now, because whatever the heck happened in New Orleans, I mean, holy cow, 1-7 going in and beating 7-1 on the road, and I get that the divisional
Anything can
opponents,
happen.
but holy smokes, that was stunning. So the Saints' loss dropped them to 7-2. The Seahawks on a bye are 7-2. The Packers at 8-2 are the 2 seed, and that's huge, because if you can't tell, it's snow right there, and it's November, and the playoffs are a couple months away.
A little gross.
And let's just say hypothetically, if they were to play the Saints don't want to play on that. The Packers, they've been playing on that. Vice versa, the Packers don't want to go down to the Superdome. Nobody wants to go to the Superdome in January. So, except for me. I mean, New Orleans is great.
Sounds fabulous. Yes.
Yeah, that would be
selfishly.
But that's no one cares about me. So, it's a big deal. They're the 2 seed, and holy smokes, that game. The next game they play, game of the year, maybe in the entire league. That is going to be a huge game. We'll see what the 49ers, they got Monday Night Football, right? We'll see what they do.
I believe so.
On Monday Night Football, but they're sitting pretty going into this bye. The seeding's going to be so huge in the NFC this year. So the fact that they got that 2 seed right now, it's something they need to hang on to. We'll see if they do. They're in a good spot.
Well, Ryan, you said nobody cares about you and how you feel, but because I care about how you feel, and I care about your ears and your hands.
I'm very red right now.
Overall
Don't
health.
feel my face.
I think we need to call it a night right here.
I wasn't going to complain, but yeah, I'm numb.
It's getting cold, and I think it's time to call it a night. I'm going to go run out there, make a snow angel. But while I do that, really. No. Just kidding. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. It's going to be a little while until we talk to you next. Maybe tomorrow if there's any big updates, but usually day after a game, there's not a whole lot to share. And then there's a very good chance that there will be no practice for the rest of the week. The coaches tend to just leave it up in the air.
They actually did already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
well, just kidding. So no practices?
No practices. Locker room is tomorrow. They have locker room at LaFleur tomorrow. Then assistant coaches will speak with on Tuesday.
Okay. Should check my email. Great. All right, then.
Happy to deliver that news to you, Olivia.
Yeah, so guys, we're not going to talk to you for a while until next Monday or Tuesday. Maybe Monday. I don't know what the schedule is.
You got any bye plan week?
I do have bye week plans.
I'm frozen. I said that, right?
Yeah, I'm going down to Evanston, Illinois to go watch my Northwestern Wildcats hopefully win to UMass. I don't know. I mean, UMass is bad. Northwestern's not much better. So hopefully they can pull a win.
There's a joke about bad football to be made here, but I'll just tuck it away.
It's okay. Thank you. Don't hurt my feelings. How about you, Ryan? Any bye week plans?
I'm going to get some rest.
Rest is good.
You know, Aaron Rodgers said this today, and I haven't gone back to fact check him, but he's Aaron Rodgers. He's pretty smart. Apparently this is like the latest they've had their bye since it started becoming a thing in like 1990 or something. Like latest since it feels that way. I was thinking about it the other day.
Yeah.
We're all real tired.
Yeah.
There's a lot of football in a row here, you know.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, the bye is, and if we feel that way,
imagine how they feel.
You can
right?
be sure they feel that way. So yes, going up 8-2, as Aaron Rodgers said, the Scotch tastes better when you go into the bye 8-2.
Yes.
But the rest does too, and I think everyone really could use some rest.
All right, I just saw a mouse run by, so we're gonna call it a day now, guys. Good night.
How's that mouse not frozen?
I don't know. He's got to stay warm. Hopefully he finds a nice warm spot. Anyway, I digress. It's time to end this, guys. It's been time to end this. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Go to bed. Or if you're somewhere else in the world, good morning, maybe. I don't know. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Go to PackersNews.com for all of your Packers news. Make sure you're tuned in with us during the bye week because we're going to have lots of great content going up, some fun stories. That's all I will share. But yes, we'll have some good stuff over on the website this week. Yeah.